I really think we need to take a few minutes and talk about the recent Supreme Court ruling on the tariffs and what does this mean for those infamous $2,000 stimulus checks or $2,000 dividend payments that the president has been talking about since late last year in 2025. I've seen a number of comments coming in across the channel since that announcement came out of the Supreme Court, and a lot of you in this community have been very, very concerned that it's game over on that $2,000. Now, to be fair, a lot of people out there are really in need of this money and honestly desperately waiting for that money to arrive sometime in 2026. But just because the Supreme Court came in and struck down the tariffs, does that mean it's totally game over on this money? Well, that's what I want to spend some time talking about here in this video, because it's not all over like you may think it is, okay? There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into the details. Now, first off, you might be thinking, why are you wearing sunglasses? Okay, here's the deal. Let me spend 1 second on this. Most of you in this community know this. I'm blind. Even though I'm blind, my eyes are still very sensitive to light. In fact, recently I've been really struggling making these videos because my eyes are just fried by the time that I get done. So for the time being, I'm probably going to wear sunglasses in some of my videos recently just because my eyes are just so incredibly sensitive to the light right now. I'm just really struggling and I just need a little reprieve from the struggle. Okay, so again, that's probably why I think most of you understand that. Thank you for understanding. Really appreciate it. And again, this just helps me out because my eyes are just so sensitive to the light. All right, anyway. So here's the deal. We all recognize this. I mean, if you haven't heard this yet, well, it's everywhere in the headlines. I mean, this is like a major deal. In fact, just a few days ago on Wednesday, I was out in a video and I said, hey, get ready. The next day we may be seeing the announcement out of the Supreme Court on the tariffs is going to be on Friday. Well, sure enough, Friday morning, we got the big announcement out of the Supreme Court striking down the tariffs. In other words, the Supreme Court came out and said the tariffs are illegal. Illegal. They must be repealed. They must be, well, pulled away. They can't have them, okay? Obviously, the president, just like we talked about, was very upset about this, and he came out literally within a couple hours after the announcement out of the Supreme Court and basically said, okay, yeah, not happy about it, but he's going to immediately implement a 10% global tariff. So even though they struck it down, he literally came back hours later and reinstituted a 10% global duty across the entire globe on everybody. Okay, so that's that. Now, there are other ways that they can replicate essentially the tariffs that the Supreme Court struck down. Okay, so it's not all game over. Now, I also want to be here, and I'm not sitting here saying, oh yeah, for sure, the $2,000 is going to come at some point this year. We still have no idea what's going to come in the middle of this year, but this is going to set things back a little while, for sure. This is definitely going to slow things down. It's going to set the whole tariff revenue situation back. It may push back the timing of this $2,000, as the president has talked about. It may even completely eliminate the option to get it. Again, we don't know what's going to happen here. However, we do know this much. In 2025, the United States brought in $264 billion of tariff revenue in the form of duties in the United States. $264 billion. In January 2026, a little over $30 billion. So just 2025 and January 2026, that combined, they brought in about $300 billion of tariffs, okay? Tariff revenue, I should say, okay? Now, the deal is the president, again, brought in that 10% duty immediately, just hours after the Supreme Court struck this down, and they're going to be bringing in even more duties in the coming days, weeks, and months here, okay? So it's definitely not over. Again, it's going to slow the process, and all the money that they've already collected is still up in the air right now, okay? There is debate right now whether the United States is going to pay back the couple $100 billion that they've already collected in duties, or if they're going to say, nope, sorry, can't pay that money back. It's going to be way too much of an issue if we do, and sorry, you're out of luck. We're not paying that money back. That means a couple $100 billion of revenues, duties that have been brought in over the last literally, well, not even a year so far, and that they'd maybe just be keeping, okay? So they still got hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars on the books right now that they have brought in, and they may not be paying that money back. And again, more money will be brought in. Remember, in that video that I pointed out on Wednesday morning, okay? So on Wednesday morning, just a few days ago, I had that video and I said, Supreme Court ruling, get ready. The $2,000 dividend, the $2,000 stimulus checks are basically on the docket, right? So check out that video from Wednesday. I talked about this and said the ruling might be coming out on Friday morning. Obviously, we got the ruling on Friday morning, right? So anyway, point being is that just because this is over for now with the IEEPA tariffs, IEEPA tariffs, that's what he used this executive order to implement. He legally, according to the Supreme Court, can't have tariffs with the IEEPA tariff or that act, that rule, okay? But there are 3 other ways that the administration has identified to basically replicate the tariffs and basically add them back in, okay? Now, as I talked about in that video on Wednesday as well, which was if the president wants something, he's going to find a way to get it. We already know this, okay? We know this loud and clear. If the president says he's going to do something, he will do whatever it takes to get it. We've noticed that with this president, with this administration, okay? Again, not making this a political video. We just all recognize this. He will do whatever it takes to get those tariffs back because this was like one of his crowning achievements, right? This was one of his big deals. He's been talking about tariffs for years, right? We've known this about this president. He wants tariffs. He talked about this for the last couple of years straight, how that he's going to implement tariffs. Tariffs are the future. This is how we're going to eliminate taxation. We're going to distribute this dividend payment and all kinds of things with the money from the tariffs, right? Without tariffs, like, what's he going to talk about? I mean, seriously, this is like his deal. This is very, very important to him. And again, they've already identified these 3 other ways that they're going to replicate these tariffs to come into place. Now, here's another super interesting part about this. A lot of people are also thinking, oh, the tariffs have been repealed. That means the prices are going to come down on consumer goods at our stores, right? No. Please do not get your hopes up for that, okay? If you're banking on, prices to come down at the stores on everything that we're buying by 10, 15, 20%, sorry, I'm telling you right now, that's not happening. Unfortunately, when it comes to consumer prices, what goes up does not need to come back down. It defies gravity. Just because the tariffs, for now, the IEEPA tariffs are gone, no. Prices are not coming down at the stores. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. However, one thing about this, with these tariffs that have been repealed here, this may actually slow down the inflation that we've been seeing over the last few months here. In fact, we recently got the PCE, the personal consumption expenditures number, and that came in hot, 0.4% month over month. In other words, what this shows is that inflation is still rising pretty rapidly right now. Okay, so we're still seeing rising inflation. So this may actually bring inflation down a little bit, as in slow the trajectory of inflation, and with the repeal of these tariffs, which, may actually be a pretty good thing, okay? But here's the deal. When it comes down to this $2,000 dividend, because here's the deal. That's probably why you're watching this video. I could literally sit here for probably a couple of hours talking about all the details around these tariffs that have been repealed out of the Supreme Court. There's just a lot of details around this. But again, you're not here to hear all that stuff, I would imagine. You're probably here to listen about the $2,000, okay? This certainly adds confusion. This certainly adds a lot of, indecision. Let's just say that much, right? It certainly adds a lot of extra contention around this, as in, previously we were on a path to bringing in well over $600 billion of tariff revenues by the end of this year. Easily enough money to distribute a $2,000 dividend payment or $2,000 stimulus at a price tag of between $300 and $600 billion. They easily could have done that. Well, this kind of messes that up a little bit. To be totally fair, yes, it does, okay? But just because the president was told that he can't do something, I think, and I think a lot of us agree with this, he's going to do whatever it takes to bring them back in and probably get even more money, because to be fair with you, he's pissed. He's super mad, okay? We all know this, and this is no surprise. We knew this was coming. I told you this a few days ago. I said, if his tariffs are struck down, he's going to be super mad, right? He's kind of like a beehive, right? Like a kid that goes up and whacks a beehive with a stick. I mean, he's like a swarm of bees that's not very happy right now. You don't want to be like in his way at this moment, right? My point being is that he's going to do whatever it takes to get this back. Okay, so again, as of right now, there's still a lot of indecision. I wouldn't write this off yet, though, okay, because they're still going to get that money coming in, and because of all the money they've already collected, they've basically made it very clear, sorry, we're not paying that money back. They've already said that a few times. Now, will the Supreme Court step in and say, we're ruling you must pay back all of the money that you've collected in tariffs? They may do that, maybe, but it's going to be a total mess. And this is not going to be something that is just like one day, oh, here you go, here's $264 billion to pay back to all of these different importers. And I mean, there's a whole laundry list of people that are owed a lot of money from this. $264 billion across a lot of places. It's going to take probably years to refund that money if they ever do it in the first place, which honestly, I don't think they're ever going to do it, okay? Because it's going to be way too much of a mess, and they've been saying it for months. If they get struck down, we're not paying the money back. So they've got that money basically in the bank anyway. Being a midterm election year, you know this. The president now needs a big win. Okay, I'm just going to be fair with you, okay? And I don't make political videos. I'm not here to take sides. I'm not here to bash people. I'm here to give it to you straight. And I think all of you recognize this. It's an election year. At this point, the president has been handed, well, a bag of flaming poo, right? When it comes down to, basically what he would understand by this, right? So point being is that he needs a win at this point. He needs a big win for the people. Right now, well, what's that win going to be? We don't know quite yet, but he needs something. Between now and I would say the next 6 months or so, he's got to deliver something pretty substantial for the people. He's got to deliver something pretty substantial for this economy for the upcoming midterm election. It's vitally important right now. One way that he could easily do that, which would really spike the overall economy, it would provide a lot of growth here. It would do a lot of really good things for the overall economy, which would be if he could provide some type of payment. I mean, that'd be amazing for a lot of people. Now, I want to throw this out there as well. Since the tariffs have been struck down, obviously, you know that I've said it multiple times so far, is that $2,000, the dream of the $2,000, who knows? Maybe that gets cut down. Maybe it comes down to $1,400, $1,500. Maybe it comes down to $1,000, right? I'm just being fair with you. The likelihood of that $2,000 being chopped down significantly is also pretty high, just being fair, okay? Just because when less money, less income is coming in, the likelihood of being able to pay out as much money is less and less, right? Which also makes me think that at some point in the next handful of months here, they're probably going to pass another reconciliation bill, which they could easily add something into. And again, I want to make it very clear, no promises. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm just pointing out some different things here, some different scenarios, but I'm going to say this much. I would anticipate the president's going to retaliate. Somehow, some way, some means, the president will find a way to retaliate and basically win. Okay, he's gonna find a way to win. We know that with this president. And again, nothing against him, nothing against the administration, nothing against. That's not what I do. Okay, I'm not here to make political videos. I'm not here to bash people. I'm just simply saying we know this with the president. He's not gonna be taken down. He's gonna win somehow. He's going to find a way to win. And I'm saying that. Okay, so. Let's see. Again, it's a very, very fluid situation. Things are still happening very rapidly right now. We're still learning more information on a consistent basis. I will certainly keep you posted as we get more information here going forward, but I hope this helps you out again. I know a lot of people are very concerned. I've seen the comments. I've seen the headlines saying, that's it. It's game over. And I would say I wouldn't write it off that fast. I've been saying this for the last couple months here. I've been saying when we get the ruling on the tariffs, if they get struck down, you're going to see it everywhere in the headlines. Every schmuck out there is going to say, oh, that's it. Game over. Those $2,000 dividends, they're done. It's it. That's it. And I would just say, why would you write it off that quick? I don't know. I mean, seriously, why just give up that fast? I mean, whatever. If people want to give up that fast, that's fine. But I would say I certainly wouldn't give up on it that quickly, just because we know the magnitude of this year with the midterms coming up. It's so vitally important for this president, for this administration. We know that. And they've got to get a big win in the next, I'm going to say 6 months. Give him 6 months. Within the next 6 months, he's got to get a big win. And that would honestly be a big win for the people. It'd be a big win for the economy. And it'd basically be a big old middle finger to the Supreme Court, right? And that's kind of what he wants to do at this point, right? I think we all recognize that. It's no surprise whatsoever. Anyway, I hope this helps you out. Again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. By the way, as I'm wrapping this up right here, my eyes are like, oh, thank you so much for the glasses. Seriously, this is really good. Thank you so much for your understanding with this. Oh my gosh, by the time I finish these videos lately, my eyes are just like burning. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to end this video. My eyes are just on fire. So thank you so much for understanding. I really appreciate this. Again, this is hopefully not going to be my norm going forward. I'll certainly not be wearing glasses all the time. But again, if you want to see a video without glasses, just look at the other 6,400 plus videos here on the channel. I mean, there's tons of videos. But anyway, I hope this helps you. Again, please subscribe if you're new here. Please share the video. Big share button down below. Subscribe button down below. Otherwise, until next time, drop your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Have a good one, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.